Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Thursday, May 28th, 2020, and we again find ourselves in the final hour of the trading day. I mention this each day, but for me, the best time to make my buying and selling decisions is at the end of the day. And the reason why, right before the market closes, and the reason that I say this is because during the day, you have the day traders' algorithms. They are the ones controlling the price. At the end of the day, in the last hour, and particularly in the last few minutes, the large financial institutions start making their decisions, and they are dealing with the most money. They have very smart people, best technology, and they start making their bets, if you will, at the end of the day. And I consider them smart money. So I like to make the majority of my buying and selling decisions on their coattails and just follow what they are doing. So that being said, I do take some day trades. I have had 2 day trades today, one winner, one loser, but I'm going to show you both of those. But thank you so much for coming today. I really appreciate it. It's always nice to see everybody here. I think we have such a great group, and I am definitely grateful for that and for you investing your time here. So thank you again. All right. Well, another update today. Dow Jones is up 137 roughly points, up about 0.5%. The NASDAQ is the winner today. It's up 73 points. It's up about 0.78%, and the S&P up 25.71, up 0.85%. Oh, excuse me. S&P is the winner today, not the NASDAQ. So, well, the trend continues. We are continuing to go up. So that's good, right? That's good. Let's see who's here today. So Dan is here. Hey, Dan. Good to see you, my friend. Dan says, salutations, everyone. As us first 3 weight, we have 100% thumbs up. Group, we can maintain this. Oh, thank you, Dan. I appreciate it. Yeah, if you like today's podcast, if you find it helpful, if you could hit the thumbs up button, I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Dan, for pointing that out. Hey, Bob, good to see you, my friend. Appreciate you being here. Hope you're having a nice day. Scatty13 is here. Hey, good to see you. Always good to see you, Scatty13. All right, well, this is the plan for today. We have a lot to get through. So quickly, what we're going to do, first of all, we're going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. I'm going to come back, take a look at all my current positions, talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, how I'm going to manage them moving forward. After that, some of you have been kind enough to share your trades with me. I have them up on the board. We have a bunch of them. So we're going to go through and we're going to take a look and see how all of those are doing. After that, about halfway of the podcast, I'm going to talk about trader psychology, trader philosophy, trading words of wisdom, just something outside of technicals, more in the psychology department, hopefully that will help your trading. Because in my opinion, the psychology portion of the trading is probably 80% of the whole deal. The other 20% is learning how to trade, identify exits, entries, all that kind of stuff, which is important, but really, when it comes down to it, 80% of it is the most important part, is the psychological part, the dealing with the fear and the greed and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to go over that. After that, we are going to go down through my watch list. You know, I have 3 requirements whenever I look to enter a trade. First requirement, need to look and see for a confluence or a combination of indicators lining up. I look at each indicator like MACD and RSI and moving averages. I look at these as potential groups of buyers, not necessarily numbers and lines on the screen. And if you're going to put yourself in the position to have the best position to have a profitable trade, you're going to increase your chances dramatically if you are in the company with as many other groups of buyers as possible. So that's how I try to achieve that, by looking for a confluence or a combination of indicators lining up, or another way to say it, a confluence or a combination of buyers lining up. So that's the first requirement. Second requirement, I look for a good risk to reward ratio. I want to have at least 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio based upon valid resistance above me, based upon valid support below me. I want to, if I put on a trade and I'm willing to lose $100, I want to be able to make $200 or more to the upside based upon, you know, likely resistance above me. So that's second requirement. Third requirement, I always want to be mindful, make sure I do not have too many correlated positions. I don't have too many stocks that are in the same industry. I want to diversify it out, spread it out, maybe some healthcare, maybe some tech, maybe some oil, something like that. Get some diversification in there. So those are my 3 requirements. I'm going to go down through the list. Each one, take a quick look at it. If something looks promising, I will go ahead and put a check by it. And then at the end of the day, as we get closer to the close, I'll go through them, the candidates with a fine-tooth comb, try to narrow them down, see which one has the highest report card, see which one basically has the best risk to reward ratio, has the most indicators lining up, and that will be my decision. If I find one, maybe I won't find one, right? And that's okay too. Then after the market closes, if anybody has any questions for me, I'm very happy to answer them for you. Clarify anything I discussed today. Take a look at any stock symbols you'd like me to. If you have a stock symbol that you would like my opinion on before the market closes, please feel free, just put it in the chat. I will answer it to the best of my ability, give you my opinion. But if there is a stock that you would like my opinion on before the market closes, just let me know, put it in there. But make sure you put a star by it or an asterisk or an emoji or something so that I know it's time sensitive, and I'll do my best to get to it. And then also, after the market closes, if you have any changes in your positions that are up on the board, if you've taken one off or entered a new position, if you could wait until then to type those in, I would appreciate it. Then that way the market's closed, I'm not up against the clock, and it makes it a little easier for me to do it correctly for you once the market's closed. All right. So that is the plan. If you could just hang tight, I would appreciate it. I'm going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer, and I'll be back in about 40 seconds. Thanks. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and/or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. All right. Hey, Kamala's here. Good to see you, buddy. Good chatting with you earlier. Quad Racer, good afternoon, Quad Racer. And I believe, everybody, Quad Racer had a birthday yesterday. So Quad Racer is one of my students, and I'm pretty sure he had a birthday yesterday. So happy birthday, Quad, and I look forward to our lesson tonight. Frank is here. Good to see you, sir. Hello, Greg, and what a great group. I agree. Frank's had some really good trades. Excited to get to those and show people those, especially on DraftKings. Marco is here. Hello, my friend. Always good to see you, Marco. I appreciate you coming by. You've been with us a long time. I appreciate that. I hope you're having a good evening. David is here. Hey, buddy. Good to see you. Hope everything is going well in Colorado. And Zach is here as well. Hey, Zach. How you doing, my friend? Appreciate you being here. All right. Well, here we go. Amazon. All right. So this is a weekly trade for me. I don't take a lot of weekly trades, but I have 2 of them at the moment. I did short Amazon last week on Friday. We went above the 70. We went below the 70 during the same bar. We also took out this previous high. We also pretty much pegged the 3rd ATR channel. So we had a false breakout to the upside and reversal back down. My stop on this is going to be if we close back over this high, back into the new range. Initially went down for me right away. I did hit one profit target down here, 23.6421. That's why I like to use profit targets. And so I did lock in some profit down there. I went short at 24.3168. Right now it's 24.2683. So still profitable barely on the majority of the position, but I did lock in some nice profits down here. So, you know, this particular trade on weekly trade, this may take a month or longer, or maybe a week, I don't know, but it could take from a week if I'm wrong to maybe even a month if I'm right. So this one's going to be up here for a while unless I immediately get stopped out. BA has been a nice trade. I did take it last Friday, 522. I bought it here at 137.35. Had a really nice signal here. We went under 30, closed over 30. We had a nice V2. Here's bar 1, bar 2, bar 3. Bar 2 washes out bar 1, bar 3 closed above bar 1's close. We also closed above the negative third ATR channel, and we also had sideways motion, which I like. So this was a really good trade. I bought it 137.35. Right now it's 152.43. And I did hit a profit target today on Boeing up here at 153.75. And if it sounds like I'm excited, I am, because it is very difficult to hit profit targets on the weekly, like really quickly, because weeklies have such large ranges that it really has to go up. So this has been a great trade, up 10.88% so far on this trade. And always glad to take a little profit off. Always glad to lock it in. If it does end up just going right back down from here, at least I've taken a portion off at profitable levels, and it would mitigate my loss if it headed back down. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Want this to continue up, but up 10.89%. So pretty good on the weekly. So the 2 weeklies worked out pretty well so far. Caterpillar. All right. I did take Caterpillar. This is a daily chart. Back on the daily chart, I took this on 520 with the 520 EMA crossover. This is a good back-tested crossover approach for Caterpillar. Bought it here 115.65. Next couple days went right down, but it stayed above both the 5 and the 20, and then it took off like a rocket ship. Did hit one profit target right here at the open, right up here, exactly $2 higher, so took that off. I don't like today's action. There's some positives and negatives to this. I don't like that we are now currently lower than the open. I do like that we went under the 100 and closed back above, so that is good. Right now we're working on a V1 to the downside. We're pretty close to that 200-day moving average up here. So mixed signals here today. At the very least, I am going to take off a quarter position just for the fact that it's closing below the open. That way, if it goes down, I'm happy that I sold some. If it goes up, I'm still glad that I have some. My intermediate term profit target on this right here is the 200-day moving average. Will it get there? I have no idea. So if it closes under the open, I will take off a quarter. If we reject the third ATR channel and the 100-day moving average, I'll probably take off half and then sell the other half if we get follow through to the downside. So anyway, this is a really good trade so far. What are we in this thing? About 5.87%. So very happy with that. Oh, and it turned green. That's a good sign as well. All right, Etsy. Boy, this was a nice trade. Oh, hold on. Let's see. Was anybody else in Amazon with me? No. Pincy and MA were also in Boeing with me. Sorry, I always forget that sometimes I have other people in these trades with me. I'm used to going over here. But Pincy and Company and MA are also in this weekly Boeing trade with me, which is fantastic. I think, oh, and Karen and David are also in Caterpillar with me. So that's really good to hear. Etsy, Karen, Frank, Miko25, and myself, we did buy Etsy yesterday. I like this setup. We had a nice trend move up into the value zone, sideways motion, false breakout to the downside is illustrated by this V1 bar. Here's bar 1, bar 2. Bar 2 washes out bar 1, closes above. Bought it yesterday at 76.05. I did hit one profit target here today at 78.63, up 3.31%. So good trade. Congratulations, Karen, Frank, Miko, and myself. So far, so good. SPY. All right. In case we have some new viewers, want to quickly go over why I do this. I do buy the SPY every single day at the close. I hold it overnight. I take the overnight risk. I sell it first thing the next morning. Why do I do this? This is not based upon technicals. Any indicators, this is just a long-term positive backtest result done by Liz Ann Saunders at Bespoke Invest. Since 1993, they tested two approaches. Approach number one, buy SPY at the open, hold during the day, sell at the close. If you did this every day since 1993, you'd have returned a negative 13.9% return for all your troubles. If you did the opposite, which is what I do, buy the SPY at the close, hold it overnight, take the overnight risk, sell first thing the next morning, positive 634.2%. So a dramatic difference in returns, negative 13.9 for this approach, positive 634.2% for this approach. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. That goes for any trading approach. May never work again in history, but so far it has. And if I'm going to allocate money towards something, I'm going to allocate it towards something that has good results. Blue line, buy in the afternoon. Buy in the afternoon, sell the next morning. You can see it's a rocky road, but over time it has done very well. The orange line, buy in the morning, sell in the afternoon, has not done much. So, there are drawdowns. You have to be aware that they can be pretty significant. I went through this in 2020. Had significant drawdown, although I've had quite a nice comeback. 2019 was fantastic. So, that's how it goes. But that being said, I did buy SPY yesterday at the close at 303.53. I sold it this morning at the open 304.69. So what is that? $1.13 overnight. So it's pretty good. So I've had a really nice run. Bought here at the close, sold the open, bought the close, sold the open, bought the close, sold the open. This back here was one of the biggest ones. Bought the open, or bought the close, sold the open. So I've made a huge comeback on this. I'm glad I stuck with it. I did have one day trade today, or 2 day trades. Oh my. This was a losing trade, and I'll show you why I bought it, if I can find it. Here we go. Now, as I reflected back over this trade, I realized, I probably made a mistake by doing what I did. And as it turns out, it was not the correct thing to do. I mean, I understand why I did it. And the reason I did is because here we have a high, we're going higher. We have a major divergence going on here in the market. So I was expecting a pullback. Then it did finally pull back with this bar. I didn't short it on this bar. I shorted it at the next bar when we rallied back to halfway of this bar. My stop was the close over the previous high, and it just, boom, took off like a rocket ship against me. So I sold here at 305.44 and got out at 306.04. So that was a loss. I guess what I want to point out here is shorting lower highs is much better than just shorting the first dip. And the reason why is that people who were lucky enough to short up here, once it came back in here, most likely they're going to come in and cover. So that's one group of buyers. People that missed out on this move, they're looking for a pullback to buy. That's another group of buyers. So, generally I don't short right in the value zone. I want to short above it. But in this case, I let it come down too far before I shorted. And what happened was I just got right in the middle of two new groups of buyers, shorts covering and people waiting for an entry buying. And boom, it just took off like a rocket ship against me. And that was that. So that was a losing trade. IWM. All right, this was also a intraday trade. It's on the 5-minute. This one was a winner, thankfully. Here we go. And this was similar to the trade that I took on SPY, but the SPY one didn't work. Here on IWM, we came up here, we had this big reversal, V1, rejection of the 1 ATR channel, V1 to the downside. I didn't short here. I waited till it got back to halfway of that bar, and my stop would have been here. And initially it went against me, then just down, 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 which was good because I was short. I was waiting for a close above the previous day's bar, and that happened here. So I shorted 143.58 and I got out at 143.19. So not a huge trade. I like doing day trades now. I mean, obviously it's good to make some extra money, but I do like showing you these, kind of in real time, or at least real time as far as earlier in the day, to show you that, the methods that I use are robust. They work on any time frame. So I've had trades on the weekly, I've had trades on the daily, and I've had intraday trades. Kind of wish I would have held that short, right? But that's okay. So 50-50 on the intraday trades today, but the other trades doing well. Let's see what's happening over here. Oh my. Now the Dow's up only 23 points. Wow. Okay. Let's get to it. Look at your trades, the important ones, right? Here we go. Glenn did buy Netflix yesterday. He had a nice trade. He bought it at 403.16. Right as it, I guess, rejected the 50-day moving average. So he bought it at 403.16. Right now it's at 416.81. So very nice, Glenn. Down a little bit today, but still very nice trade. Gib, Kamal, and Frank bought Gib on this higher low bullish engulfing bar. This was a nice setup. I remember when you guys pointed it out to me. Bought it at 62.18. Moved up nicely, had a little rejection yesterday, up strong today, up 2.85%. So congratulations, Kamal and Frank. That one's looking good. Disney, So Steve Burns and Karen have this. They are still up on the trade. They bought this at 114.57 when we had the 1050 EMA cross. That's a good back-tested approach. Best thing about crossovers, they get you out quickly if you're wrong, and they give you potential for a real big win if you're right and you stick with them. Moved up nicely the next day, sideways, up good yesterday, reversed back down, but today down 3.45%. But anyway, any changes there, Steve or Karen, you just let me know, but still up nicely on the trade. CRM, Glenn bought this about a month ago or so, back on 517, 166.75, moved up nicely. Pulled back, moved up nicely. Yesterday tried to go down, reverse back up. Ooh, looks like we have earnings here. So Glenn, if you're out there listening today, let me know if you're holding through earnings or if you're not, but it is up 2.8% today. XLUMA, beautiful trade here. This was a nice setup. I remember this setup. Bullish engulfing bar, V1, false break to the downside from this previous range. Up, 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 up. Consolidated again, boom, 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 beautiful, up almost 3% today. Congratulations, MA. Pins is Nick. Nick bought 1850 calls expiring on Friday. Well in the money, $1.50, so that's going well. Very, very nice. SSO, Steve Burns and Karen did buy SSO back here on the 18th of May, 115.45. 1050 crossover. Again, good back-tested approach to trading. Doesn't win every single trade, but the winners are generally much larger than the losers, and that's what trading is all about. Move sideways. Last 3 days had a nice move up. Is up 1.4% today, and so Karen and Steve are up on this trade roughly 5%. Not too shabby. Congratulations, Steve and Karen. IWC, Steve was the only one in this. He bought this at 79.45, bought this with the 1050 crossover, sideways movement, moved up nicely. Bit of a bearish reversal bar, getting close to that 200-day moving average. That's going to act as a lot of resistance, especially because at the same time, we're near the 70 RSI up there. But anyway, this has been a nice trade. It is down a bit today, but for Steve, up about 5.6%. So very, very nice. Goldman Sachs. All right, so Kamal had a monster trade on Goldman Sachs. Here he bought it with the 520 crossover in the value zone. I'm telling you, the crossovers that you buy in the value zone tend to move the most, in my opinion, or in my experience. He bought it at 180.56. Beautiful up day here. I think Kamal is watching that 200-day as his end of day stop. But this trade, let's take a look. How am I doing on time? 13.2% return. Kamal has had some monsters. He got out of Twitter yesterday. That was another 13% or something like that. All right. What else do we have here? USO. Karen is still in USO and MA. Karen and MA. They bought it here. Nice sideways motion. False breakout to the downside. Reversal back up 21.49. It has moved up nice and strong. Currently, looks like they're up about 16%. So fantastic. Pod. Kamal bought Pod yesterday at 178.10. Rejection of the third ATR channel. Rejection of the 200-day moving average. Up 4.5%, 4.77% today. I know Kamal's watching the 50-day moving average to see if it closes above or below. Bing He, this was a nice formation. Bullish engulfing bar V1 on PZZA, bought it at 78.62. Initially went up, then came back down. This doesn't concern me too much. As a matter of fact, I think Bing He's stop is somewhere around the halfway mark. This was such a big move up. Having a little backfill does not surprise me. So, if I was in this trade, I would still keep it. BGS also Bing He bought this yesterday, 23.04. BGS, it's at 23.65. So really nice trade, Bing He. This is the big winner of the day, I believe, is Frank. Frank bought DraftKings yesterday. I'm not sure what the setup was, but it doesn't matter because it worked. 34.10. Now it's 37.52, up 6.74%. And lastly, Steve Burns did buy DDM yesterday with the 1050 EMA crossover. Bought it here at 39.27. Right now it's at 40.01, so up about 70 cents or so. Closing lower than the open, that's a little bearish. Pretty high up here, 64 RSI. So anyway, really good day. It looks like all in all. Nice and green, some fantastic trades. So congratulations, everybody. Really, congratulations. Let's see. Hey, Steve Burns, I was just talking about you. Thank you so much for coming, my friend. Appreciate you being here. Hi, everyone. Looks like I'm exiting Disney. Okay, noted. Thank you for coming today, Steve. Quad Racer says, I did. Thank you, Greg. Would like your thoughts on J&J and Etsy. I know you'll get to see these later, but both look like valid entries. Well, I have Etsy right now. I wouldn't buy it now. We bought it yesterday with this V1. I wouldn't buy it here now, though, honestly, because the trigger was yesterday. J&J. No, I don't really like it. It's a V1 yesterday. False breakout to the downside, rejection of the 200. Yesterday would have been the move. Here now, I feel like it would be a little chasey. It's still over the 50. That's at least positive, but I personally would not buy it here today. Yesterday would have been the day. V1, rejection of the 1 ATR channel, rejection of this low. I mean, obviously in hindsight, right? But yeah, that was valid, and it would have moved up nicely, but I would not buy today. Kamal says, Roku, Amazon, Snap, TDD, QDL. You don't have to do them all or rush through. I know we just went through in a bit before. I just want to verbalize the differences. Thank you, Greg. Okay, let me get through some of the other stuff, and then we'll try to swing back around and take a look at those. Kamal Quad says, Kamal Snap looks like a valid V2. Yeah, but the risk to reward doesn't look fantastic at this point. Your risk would be all the way down here, so you always have to keep that in mind. MACD divergence. By the way, the gentleman that created and invented the MACD MACD indicator, he died yesterday. I saw that. So thank you, sir. I forgot his name. I know he was friends with Dr. Alexander Elder, but the guy who invented MACD that we look at all the time, he invented it, and he actually, unfortunately passed away yesterday. Glenn says, hey Greg, sold 50% of my remaining position in CRM when it popped. We'll risk the remainder through the earnings. Okay, good. Frank. Okay, here we have a poem by Frank. Every trader must find their way no matter what the pundits say. Buy, sell, they like to shout as TV viewers tune them out. Long and short positions they tout. Do they even know what they're talking about? Oh man, that's one of my favorite ones ever. Let's read that again. Every trader must find their way no matter what the pundits say. Buy, sell, they like to shout as TV viewers tune them out. Long and short positions they tout. Do they even know what they're talking about? Boy, that is spot on. Do they even? I don't know. You know, I would probably lean towards not so much. You know, they're reading off a teleprompter. Hey Bing He, how you doing, buddy? Hedge. Not too bad. Not too bad. We went under 30, over 30. We had a little bit of a V1 here. That's the positive. The positive, it's a good risk to reward if you're wrong. The negative is you're right up against the third ATR channel. On the weekly, looks like we're finding support back here at the low. Yeah, it's not so bad, but I mean, it's decent. I'd like it better if it had a better washout, but it is under 30, over 30 with the V1. Wow, is the market melting down here? Frank says, I'm at a DKNG. Okay, fantastic. Great trade, Frank. If you could, maybe you could remind me at the end just so I make sure I get the board right. Mount Doji, can I hear your thoughts on pins? Yeah, we have pins up on the board. Nick bought this. Well, it's a higher low V2, which is good. It's above the 50 RSI. We've had some crossovers here. It's up nicely. That's the positive. The negative, it's rejected the 1 ATR channel. It's not too bad. On the weekly, it's right in the value zone. It's not too bad, Mount Doji. Thoughts on Microsoft? It's a V1 yesterday against a very big bar down. I don't like that. Hey Karen, good to see you. Steve says Gerald Appel was the MACD creator. Oh yes, that's right. Thank you, Steve. I know he was friends with Dr. Elder, and I saw that today. In memorandum. Yes, thank you, Pincy. Steve says Trump announced he is giving a talk about China tomorrow. Markets dropped immediately. Interesting. Thanks for keeping me in the news, because when I'm doing the live stream, I don't follow it, which maybe is not such a bad idea. Let me take a look over here. All right, I have to clean something up here. In a different account that I manage. Boom. And boom. Okay. Okie dokie dokie dokie. So, listen, before we go down through my watch list, before we take a look and see if there's a possible trade for today, I do like to spend a few minutes on trader psychology, trading philosophy, good trading words of wisdom. As you know, I look through Facebook, Twitter, on the trading channels every day, and I try to find a good saying that I could share with the group that is helpful for me and also helpful for you. Again, the trader psychology of portion of trading to me is 80% of the whole struggle in trading. And so that's why I like to talk about it. We talk, 3-4 minutes about it, but if I had If I had my druthers, we talk about an hour and 25 minutes about this and about 5 minutes about trading, honestly. But there's some great Twitter channels out there, Facebook channels out there. This is Anthony Crudell. Love this guy, has a great channel. Very famous trader, educator. I believe he trades futures, but he has a great channel. Whenever he posts something, I like to take a look at Anthony Crudell. Positivity in my thinking is a priority for a positive profit and loss. If I'm negative in my thinking, there's almost no way I'll be making money. Attitude matters. And this is so true, everybody. You always hear me try to be positive about something, try to be half full about something, be grateful for my wins and sanguine about my losses. But I don't just do that because, I'm trying to be some, positive type of motivational speaker or something like that. I'm not. I just know how important it is to stay positive and have a good mind frame. When I have a loss, I'm like, okay, I had a loss. I look at it, analyze it, try to find out, like the earlier trade I took today that was a loser. I looked at it and went, you know what? I probably should not have been shorting that in the value zone. And as it turns out, I should not have. But you get your losses, you pay for them, but try to at least be thankful that you've learned something from your losses. But if you have a bad attitude about trading, if you have a negative attitude about trading or a string of losses, man, is it going to carry into your new trades in the future? I promise you it is. Anybody who's been trading a long time knows it is. I know it's difficult when you have a loss. It's not fun, but it is part of trading. So try to be positive. If you go through a drawdown and you really feel bad and you never feel like you're going to make the money back, just act like you're starting day one trading from scratch. Just forget about what happened. Go forward, get your ship in order, your trading ship in order, but stay positive, whatever it takes to stay positive. And if you're taking too large trades and losing, then take smaller trades so you can try to stay positive. It really does matter. We always talk about support, resistance, V1s, V2s, blah, 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 right? But staying positive in your trading, having a good attitude about it is really the most important thing in the long run. So thank you, Anthony Crudell. Really appreciate that. That really spoke to me, and I hope that was helpful for everyone else. And do subscribe to his channel, Anthony Crudell, at Anthony Crudell on Twitter. Thanks, Anthony. Appreciate it, bud. All right. While I am thinking about it, I'm going to get Frank out of DNKG. Okay, Disney. I know Steve's getting out of Disney. I don't know about Karen. Maybe you could let me know, Karen. Glenn sold half of his position for earnings. Okay. So he still has half, so I'm going to leave that on there. Yeah, Snap's super strong. It's a V1, a V2, excuse me, did test this previous low, or at least it looks like it. This is one of those stocks that can really go, but the risk to reward doesn't make sense to me. The risk would be all the way down here. That's a long way. Honestly, me personally, I would, if I had to get in this trade, if you just more than anything wanted to get in this trade, I would take like a half position and then see if it backfills to maybe halfway and add that other position. I mean, this looks good. It's strong. It looks good for the future. But, I personally wouldn't take this. I would wait for, I might watch this tomorrow. If it pulls back to halfway, I might enter then, because then my risk to reward becomes better. But here it's quite extended. Steve's out of IWC. Okay. right, let me do a quick check on my positions. Oh, all right. So Amazon, I'm short from blah, blah, 24.31. So it is down. Did it lose everything today? Oh, it's only up 2 now. Interesting. Okay. So far so good. Boeing really came down, but really glad that I did hit that profit target there. Caterpillar, right at this moment, I may get out of the whole thing with this close below the open, V1, rejection of the third. I may get out of the whole thing there. Our Etsy still doing fine. Good. SPY. I can get rid of the shorts there. I will be buying that again at the close, as per normal for the overnight SPY trade. And IWM, I don't need that anymore because that was the day trade. All right, I'm just trying to get things cleaned up a little bit here. Okay, boy, I'm running late. I'm just going to whiz down through here. Apple. Again, false breakout to the upside. Here was the previous high, or here was the previous high. We broke out. We came back in the range. We broke out again today, back in the range. So nothing on here. Look for a pullback into the value zone. Adobe, no good. Looking for a pullback into the value zone. Amazon, we just talked about that. Boeing, oof, I'm trading this on the weekly, but this is an ugly bar. This is an ugly bar on the daily for sure. But again, I'm trading this from the weekly, so I'm not really going to go off of what's going on the daily. But nice, really nice trade so far on that one. Alibaba, back in the value zone, starting to move sideways. This is interesting. Could look for a V1 or a V2, then I would get long this, but you know, the setup's not there. You know how you have a joke and you set up the joke, then you have the punchline? Well, here's the joke. The joke setup is set, but no punchline yet. Punchline's the trigger. Berkshire Hathaway down a bit today. A lot of reversal bars closing lower than the open and rejecting at significant points like the third ATR channel. Beyond Meat in the value zone, 1 day sideways. If I could get a couple more days sideways, then look for a V1, V2. Caterpillar, I think I'm just going to exit that whole trade here. I don't like this bar whatsoever. Really glad I hit that profit target there. Carnival is down today. The Dow actually negative now. See the V1 to the downside? Walt Disney, Karen, and Steve. Steve is exiting. I don't know about Karen. So Karen, if you're out there, let me know. Etsy, glad to see Etsy is still up for Karen, Frank, and myself. Facebook. One more time. Facebook. Like to come into the value zone. Gold's probably up, right? Yep, gold's up, but closing below, so nothing there. The 5 EMA is still above the 20. Like to see it go under and then back over. That's where I would look to buy. Google is up a smidge. Goldman Sachs. Kamal, let me know. Beautiful trade on this Kamal. What a monster he had. I know he was using that 200-day as his trailing stop, so it might close under. Home Depot, V1 to the downside. False breakout to the upside. Rejection of the third ATR channel. A lot of bearish things going on with that bar. IBB, nope. Intel, do not see anything there. Russell, down. Like to see a pullback into the value zone. That's what I want to see. Johnson & Johnson up nicely today. Quad Racer, yesterday would have been the day. I'm not saying this in hindsight. I'm just saying this because of the setup. Nice V1. Rejection of the 100-day. And more importantly, rejection of this previous low over here. So it's a false breakout to the downside. It's a V1. It's rejection of the 100. And that would have been a good trade. I'm kind of surprised I didn't take that yesterday. CarMax, way too high. Coca-Cola, way too high. Need a pullback. Lockheed Martin. I knew this was super. I mean, this was so strong yesterday, but a little bit of a pullback here. So that one's kind of gone for me. MasterCard is up a bit today still. Mickey D's, rejection of the 100-day. Need a pullback into value. Merck, man, I was waiting patiently. Remember, I was waiting patiently for Merck for this double bottom with the bullish divergence. It got close, didn't really get there, and took off without me. Here's MACD crossover. We were just talking about the gentleman that, but nothing there. Microsoft up a little bit. It's a V1 yesterday, but a V1 up against a big, huge bar with a lot of volume. See the volume on this down day? The reason I don't take V1s or V2s up against big, huge bars is because the only reason it was a big, huge bar was because there were a lot of sellers. So yeah, we can try to go back up against it, but most likely, and when you have a big, huge down bar and you go up against it, you know, you're going to find resistance about halfway. And so anyway, that's why I do not take trades up against big bars. It doesn't mean it can't go right back up, but it just came down. Most of the time, it's not going to go right back up. Does that make sense? Netflix. All right, Glenn's still doing fine on Netflix. But again, this is one of those situations where you have big, strong distribution and you have one bounce. Doesn't mean it can't continue, but usually that bounce is going to be for a bar or two and then come back down. Nike, V1 to the downside. Looks like it rejected the 70 RSI today. Philip Morris. Big reversal there. A lot of reversal bars. Nothing on PayPal. Q's. V1 yesterday, but didn't go anywhere. Silver up today. S&P really, no, now it's negative on the day. My goodness. So look at this rejection of the third ATR channel going into a V1 here to the downside. Teladoc, nothing on Teladoc. Bonds. You know, we've been hanging right here. We do have support right here, but no trigger. Tesla down. Twitter. Nice move on getting out of Twitter yesterday, Kamal. Beautiful trade on Twitter. Kamal had you. United Continental down. UNG down. UNH. Bearish bar. Oil. Keeping pretty strong. Dollar. Boy, look at the dollar. It's getting weaker. It's definitely getting weaker down here, isn't it? Couldn't hold that previous low over there. Couldn't hold the 100. VIX. Kamal. Kamal and I were talking about the VIX right here. Do you remember that, Kamal? The higher low V1? I said, I'm not going to take this, but this could be the change in the market. Oh, man. It's easy to be right when you're not in the trade sometimes, right? All right. Walgreens, big reversal. Could be a V2 to the downside. Walmart, nothing. Energy, nothing. Financials, big reversal as well. Real estate. Yeah, I mean, this is all pretty ugly. Utilities, though, MA, look at this. People are going into the safety of utilities. Healthcare. It's just a lot of emotion in these bars. Yeah, I honestly don't see anything for today. All right, so my Amazon short is working out now here at the end of the day. BA on the weekly, no change there. Caterpillar, I am definitely getting out of Caterpillar. Etsy, like a champion, still holding green. Glad to see that. Okay. So, only thing I'm doing here, folks, is getting rid of Caterpillar. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to do that right now. do it over here as well. Okay. So I'm at a Caterpillar, and that's all I'm doing. Marcella is here. Nice to see you. Appreciate you coming. Frank says, my exit on DKNG was 38.90. I mistyped it. 138.90. Oh, no doubt. That would be good, right? You still did well on that. Karen says, Disney. All right. So Karen's out of Disney. Still a profitable trade for Karen. So very nice. And Cat. Okay, I think we only have David left in that, but still was a profitable trade, so we'll take it. Karen says, I will exit SSO if it closes 120.97. All right, it is under that now. Karen's out of SSO. Okay. Okay, so Karen's out. Frank says, I like to call this a V market, a house of cards recovery. Yep. Kamal says, yes, that was the change in the market. It was, wasn't it? Man, did we call it. Holy smokes. Holy smokes, that was the change. David says, out of car 2. Cat, I think. Yeah, pretty ugly reversal, you know. Lock in those profits. This is a concerning day to me right now with the market. Frank says I just got stopped out of Etsy. All right. All right, so Kamal and Karen and I believe, are still in Etsy. I really don't see any reason for me to get out of this. Did reject this high. Maybe that's why Frank got out. But anyway, so far so good. Sorry, I'm looking for something here. Okay. Hey, I wanted to talk about wolf waves. I think some of you have seen them out there before. I learned about wolf waves a long time ago. I know Steve posted on his channel about wolf wave. A wolf wave is when you have 3 lower lows. See how we have a low here, we have a low here, and we have a low here? This is what's, but here's the key. Here's point 1 is your first low. Point 2 has to be higher than your first low. So you go point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4 has to be a high that is lower than point 2 but higher than point 1. And what you do is you draw them out like this. And your entry is on, you can draw your 0.3 line. So here's, you draw this trend line here, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. Then you can anticipate the buying area is when the price comes down to the trend line of 0.1 to 0.3. This would be your buy area, and it has to come with large volume. So I saw this happening and I was like, ooh. Now your destination for this will be right back up here. there's something called Three Little Indians where you have three symmetrical bottoms. Just that by itself is a pretty good pattern. But then when you have the 0.2 being higher than 0.1, 0.4 being lower than 0.2 but higher than 0.3, I know it's a little confusing, but it's basically 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. You buy at 0.5, and a lot of times it will move right back up to this move. The stop is a low, would be a close below the low of 0.5, and that's, so you still would have been in here, still would have been in here, and then this is where it cracked. But that's what a wolf wave, I remember back in the 90s, if you called the wolf wave guy, I remember he wanted to charge me $30,000 to teach me this, what I just taught you. So anyway, I've been looking for them. I haven't seen one for a while. They're generally pretty good, but this one goes to show you, not everything works all the time. All right. Zach says, I was about to ask if we lost audio. Yeah, sorry. Sometimes I just have to quit talking and take it all in and kind of process what's going on here. I need a sidekick or some little mood music. I can just press a button. You can just hear some nice mood elevator music while I'm thinking. Oh, Kamal. Okay. Roku. All right, here is Roku. We talked about this. This is not too bad. We come down, we stay sideways. Yesterday we went down below. We didn't quite make the V1. Today we make the V2, bar 1, bar 2, bar 3. Bar 2 washes out bar 1, bar 3. Looks like it's closing above bar 1. What I like here is the rejection of the 50-day moving average. Normally I wouldn't take this because it's under the 1 ATR channel and we don't have any double bottoms or bullish divergences or anything like that, but it does add some extra bonus points to it that it rejected the 50 and it pulled back to the 50. Generally that first pullback after a big move to the 50 will hold. Not every time, don't misconstrue what I'm saying, but a lot of times. So probably more than half. All right, 108.50. Good, Kamal. You're already in the money, buddy. All right. Glad to see that moving up. Frank says, for 30,000 bucks, that guy must have been the wolf. Yeah, I read about wolf waves in Linda Raschke's book, and you know, she's certainly a very legitimate, well-known trader, and so I looked at it. I bought the little course back in the 90s. I bought the course, and I can't remember how much I paid for it, maybe 400 to 500 bucks. It was like 5 pieces of paper, kind of hand drawn, it seemed like, if I remember, for 500. But I bought it, and I started to use it. But you know me, with learning something, I like to learn one-on-one, right? Regardless of what I'm trying to learn. I like to learn one-on-one. That's why I teach one-on-one lessons. So I contacted him and said, hey, look, I got your course. I'd like to learn one-on-one. And he said, yeah, it's 30,000. I was like, oh, come on. I mean, anyway, that just didn't seem, that seemed like it was overpriced for sure. Okie dokie. All right. So listen, if you have any other questions, if you have some updates for me on entries or exits, please let me know. Before we get into that, just real quick, just get it out of the way. I want to put in my quick little daily plug, let everybody know that I do offer private one-on-one coaching and teaching lessons in the evening time via Skype. I love to teach. I've had really good success with my clients. I've been trading for 24 years now. I've studied with some really great mentors one-on-one, like Dr. Alexander Elder and Steve Burns and Larry Williams and Carrie Lavorne, they have taught me a lot of wisdom in what those four gentlemen have taught me. And that's what I teach in my course. And like I just mentioned about wolf waves, me personally, when I want to learn something, I try to find the person that's going to teach me. And I say, look, I want one-on-one lessons. I don't want it in a group. I just want one-on-one so I can completely annoy you with all my questions. Right. And that's the best way that I learn. And in my experience, I see people learning the best one-on-one. And so that's why I have one-on-one lessons. So I do have a course. It's 5 sessions, 5 one-on-one sessions. Each session is 3 hours. They're kind of marathon, but it's long form teaching. And I think really in trading, that's what you need. So it's $1,000, but I do think it's worth every penny. So if you've been thinking about it, just reach out to me and let's have that Skype call. The email's in the description of this video. You can message me on Twitter, but as I've mentioned every day, before I work with the new student, I want to have a Skype call with them. There's no charge, there's no obligation. It's not a sales call. I just want to see if we're a good fit for each other. It's a good way for you to ask me questions about the course, and it's a good way for me to ask you questions about you and your trading. So if you've been thinking about it, let me know. It'd be really nice to meet you on Skype and at least put a face with the name. And then if you like today's podcast or live stream, whatever we're calling it, if you could do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button before you get out of here, I would really appreciate that. It helps build the channel. And there's a lot of people out there that could use some help with good trading principles. And I think if they come to the channel here, that they would get those. So anyway, okay, there's my little spiel. Thanks for holding through that every day with me. But I try to teach for about 1 hour and 27 minutes and then 3-minute commercial. So hope that's okay with you. Frank, Kamal, I'm out of Goldman Sachs. All right. Nice trade on Goldman, Kamal. And Pod. Nice trade, bud. Nice, really nice trade. 3.41% on a down when the market's all being down. All right, so we're at a Pod. Bing He, exited pizza. Oh, yeah, that came down quite a bit more, didn't it? All right. That's a bummer, Bing He. Sorry, buddy. And you took Etsy? Okay, I will add you here. I'm not going to put all the different entry prices because it will make the chart too busy. Okay, Bing He, good. Oh, you took hedge also. All right. Oh, this is a bear ETF, huh? Good symbol. Oh, here it is. Duh. Okay. Would you get it at 519? Okay. And speaking of, let me take a look and see where I bought my SPY today. 302.97. Okay. Good. All right, quad's there. And plug, huh? Let's take a look at plug. When did you get into plug, Quad Racer? Did you get in today or yesterday? TDT TTD. Yes, you're right. Correct. You're right, Kamal. It did untrigger the V2. See, here's day 1, day 2, day 3, day 2. Washed out day 1. Earlier today, it had triggered. It was above, but it closed below, so it untriggered. Very good. And Amazon. Yes, it untriggered. Which, there's a good, some people like to buy right when they trigger intraday, which sometimes you'll get a lot better price, right? Instead of waiting for the end of the day. But the flip side to that coin is people that bought the V2 intraday now had to get out with a loss. So if you would have waited, you wouldn't have taken the loss. But sometimes when you wait, you buy a higher price. So that's the yin and yang of it. Frank says, with so many stocks in constant motion, it's no wonder folks find the market overwhelming. Yeah, you're right, Frank. It's interesting you say that, because with the day trading I've been doing lately, I just kind of browse through, look around, browse through, look around. I mean, I have a defined watch list, which is, I guess, better than just having 8,000 or 10,000 stocks to choose from. But my thought was, it sure would be easier, if I just traded Apple, like that was it. If I had a trade, I had it. If I didn't, I did it. I mean, it's not going to happen. I am going to look around at for other day trades like I normally do. But I normally, just look at Apple or the SPY, IWM or the Q. So, I mean, I have a handful, but to have a universe of 10,000 stocks to look for, that is overwhelming. Kamal says, Quad Racer, interesting. I see a downside V1 and upside on plug. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with plug. Why Quad? Did you buy it yesterday, Quad? I was already in plug. Okay, that makes more sense. That makes me feel better. We're going to have a little talk about that tonight, Quad. if you would have bought here today. But anyway, okay, that makes sense. That makes more sense. And we do have a lesson tonight. Right, Quad? Confirmed? But I did hit a profit target earlier. Yeah, perfect. That makes sense that you would hit a profit target today, and that's what's nice about hitting profit targets. Well, I'm very glad for today's action. It still was a nice green day, so always grateful for that. Never cocky about that, but it is nice to have green days, and we've had a bunch of them lately. So, we know man, I almost hesitate to even say this because last time I said it, it was like right on cue, but I'm going to say it anyway. I said it back in February. I said, we're having a good run up here. Seems like we can't lose on any trade, but trust me, there will be a time in the future, I didn't know it was going to be literally within a week, that the markets will go down and you will never feel like you will make money ever again. And that's, I have been through that so many times in my trading career where you feel like you're never going to lose money ever again. You feel like you're never going to make money ever again. But when you're making money, trust me, you will start losing money. When you're losing money and you never feel like you'll make money again, trust me, you will make money. That's why it's so important for me. That was more Greg when I first started trading. Now I'm scared of every trade. I assume every trade's going to be a loss. I mean, this is really how I approach trading. I assume every trade's going to be a loss. I try to play devil's advocate to every single trade And if I'm winning, I think, okay, it's nice to be winning, but a loss is probably coming along. So be careful. And when I'm losing, I have to make an extra point to say to myself, all right, you're losing. Do everything you can to mitigate it, but remember, you will be positive. You will go positive again. And that's what happened. But I hope I didn't. Okay, I just knocked on wood 3 times, so it's not jinxing it. But last time I said that, the market did go down, so I hope I'm not an omen with that. So let's, be careful all the time. Let's please don't get too cocky when things are going our way. Be grateful, enjoy it, but always be cautious. Always, always, always. Come on, Greg, I see my name in the Etsy chart. I don't have that trade. Oh, you don't have Etsy? Shoot. I was excited for you, Kamal, that you had Etsy. All right. So Karen, Miko, 25, and Bing He. Oh, Bing He has it. Okay. Frank says, what scares me is when the Fed closes this wallet. Yeah, 100%. I mean, listen, the correlation between the markets going up and the Fed increasing its balance sheet is like perfect. As long as they increase their balance sheet, the market goes up. If they start closing their balance sheet, the market's going to go down. It's literally as simple as that. Look what happened in the fourth quarter of 2018 when the Fed attempted to reduce their balance sheet a little bit. The market just fell off a cliff, That's the thing. The market is going up because of the easy money and the stimulus that's happening. Like Peter Schiff says, the market's on a sugar high because easy money is the drug of the markets. And you take that drug away and you're going to have issues. Glenn says, CRM down after hours. Glad I sold 50% at pop over 184. So you sold 184. What are we at right now? Yep. That's one of the best things, Glenn. I'm glad you brought that up. I love the 50-50. I love taking off half of my position. It's the only proposition in trading where it's a no-lose proposition. Because if you sell something and it had gone up after hours, you'd still be glad that you had half. But in this case, you sold half, it went down, you're glad that you sold half, right? So I love the 50-50. No matter what happens in trading, you're okay with, you're still kind of glad because you sold half or you bought half. You see what I'm saying? So in this case, he decided to sell half the position. It went down. He's glad he obviously wish he sold the whole thing, but he's glad that at least he sold half. And if it went up, he'd be glad that he still had half. I love the 50-50. I love it. Lesson confirmed. Good. Boy, look at Apple. That was nasty. I'm trying to find a good example. Okay. You know how I talked about not shorting back in the value zone? Because you have the move up, you come back down into the value zone. Kamal and I were talking about this. Here's the V1. Do I want to buy this V1? I don't. For one, we have strong move to the downside. But a lot of times when you make a higher high, you come into the value zone, you will bounce because you have the people that did short here are going to cover down here. People that missed this move want to get in here on the return. But then do you see how we went up and then failed? And so we made a lower high after a lower high, you can get a lot of more downwards movement because the people that bought here, they bought because they bought the dip. The shorts bought because it pulled back. Now it could have gone up and made a new high, in which case it did. People wouldn't sell. But when it went up and then failed, the people that just bought here the dip and it failed, they're going to get out. That creates a group of sellers. And then short sellers are going to come in and short that first rally. And that leads to two groups of sellers to the downside. So the point is, if you think something's too high, don't short that first return to value. Wait for it to come to the value, then rally, make a lower high. You're much better off shorting that lower high than you are just shorting that first pullback. Hope that makes sense. Okie dokie. All right. Well, if there's any questions, this would be the time to ask. Otherwise, I'm going to get my hiking boots on, go for a nice hike. It's really beautiful out there. Nice to go get some sun, get on the mountain trails, take Katie for a little walk, and then I'm going to come home, grab a quick bite to eat, and then I have a lesson tonight with Quad Racer. So looking forward to that. He's been a really great student. So if there are any other questions or comments or jokes or poems or haikus, Zach says, Greg, now that the hour is over, wanted to say that I listened to the interview with Dave. The story about DB Cooper was riveting. What would absolutely love to hear more about that one day. Well, speaking of that, I do have an interview on my YouTube channel. I'm going to post the link right here, Zach. This is an interview that I did with the DB Cooper investigator. I think it's over 2 hours, and it's really every single detail about my dad and the DB Cooper case. So if you're interested, there it is. It's nothing about trading, but it's a long form interview about the whole experience of my dad being DB Cooper. So, if you get some time, take a look or listen to it. Wiener Dog says, thank you, Greg. Have a great evening, all, especially QR. Do I know what QR means? Am I supposed to? Thank you, Greg. Have a great evening, all, especially QR. Oh, Quad Racer. All right, I'm a little old and slow. Yep. Happy birthday from yesterday, Quad. Zach says, thank you very much, Greg. Have a great evening. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate it. All right, everybody. All right. Listen, go out and try to do something nice for somebody today. Let me just leave you with that. Just be nice, say hello, be pleasant. We could use a lot more of that in the world. And who knows? One day somebody might come along, do something nice for you, and you'll be glad and you'll be happy they did. So try to do something nice for everybody every day. Hit the thumbs up button if you could on the way out if you like today's podcast, and have a good rest of your day. Be safe, be good, and hopefully I will see you tomorrow on Friday during the last hour of the market. Take care now. Bye-bye. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.